again. Today, is that my cat? Hi Harry! Do you want to sit? Okay, so I'm doing this with a cat. I have decided as a qualified massage therapist to go through some of the things that I wish people knew when they came to a spa. It's partly connected to some things that people might be embarrassed to talk about, going back to things that some people just really ought to know. So number one, don't forget your swimwear. Because it can be really embarrassing when people turn up and they haven't got any swimwear, and especially at my spa, because we don't sell swimwear because we're quite a small spa. So it's just like, my spa doesn't have a pool, but obviously with spas that do have pools, they're more likely to sell their own swimwear. It's just one thing that I guess sometimes you don't think about it because you think it's already in there, and then you go, oh, I forgot my swimming costume. Yes, so that's one thing you might always want to write down when you ever go to a spa. Don't forget the swimwear. Okay, so the next one is to arrive at least 5 to 10 minutes before the start of your session. So if your session starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, try to get there for maybe 10 to, maybe even quarter to. Make sure you've got plenty of time to park, figure out where you're going if you haven't been there before. And then if you are a bit early, it doesn't matter because at least you're not late. But yeah, just make sure that you're there early so that you've got time to fill out any paperwork, know where you're going. If you need, if you're going by car, you know where to park, all those kind of things. Okay, so the next one, number 3, is you might not want to share personal details when you go to a spa, like your home address, your phone number, email address or whatever, but it's always a good idea to leave at least one form of contact, because you won't believe the amount of things people leave at a spa. This amount of lost property is ridiculous. People have left mobile phones, credit cards, jewellery, their swimming costumes. So always leave at least one form of contact so that the spa can contact you if you do happen to leave anything behind. Okay, so the next one is don't be scared to ask if there's any cancellations. Now, a lot of things do get booked up in advance in spas. It's like we've had some things on our computer that have been booked in months in advance. But every so often we do have quiet days that just, even if we're at capacity, some people just haven't booked in for treatments that day. So if there is availability, we normally tell people. If somebody does ask us, oh, by the way, is there any availability for maybe a facial or a massage or for me to get my nails done, we can let them know and say, oh, we might have something at this time, and we can work out based on what is available what might be good for you. Don't be scared to ask if there are any cancellations if you are interested in anything, or even extending a treatment if you've already got one booked in, because a lot of cancellations happen first thing in the morning. But yeah, so just don't forget to ask, because if you don't ask you don't get, and you might get lucky. Okay, so the next one is try not to spread out too much in the changing rooms. Try to be respectful of the fact that other people are in there. The reason I say this one is because at my spa the changing rooms are quite small, and so when you do have people arriving at the same time, sometimes it can get a bit cramped in there. So just be aware of the space around you and other people around you, and just make sure you're not using up too much space. So the next one is don't hog anything. For example, we've had groups at our spa before who just want to stay in the hot tub all day, and you're just like, well, usually there's supposed to be like a 15-minute, 20-minute cap on how long people can use things for, just to make it fair for everybody else. So just be mindful that other people are also using the spa. So you might be really enjoying it in the hot tub, but there might be somebody else who wants to use it. So just get out, mate, because you can always come back later. That's the point. You can always come back at any time during your session. Like if you're there for the day, if you're just there for a couple of hours, you can always go back. Just don't sit in one thing for the whole time you're there, because that's stopping other people from using it. Okay, so the next one is if you do have treatments booked, make sure you know where you're going and when you are going. By that I mean make sure you know what time your treatment is and where you need to be at what time. At my spa we usually tell people to go to their treatments about 5 minutes before their treatment starts. Depending on the layout of the spa, the timing might be different, because normally before treatment start we get you to fill out a consultation card, which involves stating any allergies that you might have, if you've got any medical conditions that might affect the treatment, if you're on any regular medication, painkillers, that kind of thing, if you wear contact lenses, if you're having a facial, what kind of pressure you like in regards to the massage, you know, if you have any particular areas during the massage that you want focusing on. All of these things are covered on the consultation card, so make sure you have the time to fill that out before the start of your treatment. If you purposely come up late for your treatment, spend time dilly-dallying to filling out your forms, popping to the loo and stuff, if we've got a fully booked day, you messing about will eat into other people's treatment times. So if you're late, you will get a shorter treatment. It's just the way it works. That might seem harsh, but you can't expect your therapist to give you a full treatment if you're 5 minutes late for your treatment. It affects your treatment and it affects other people's treatments as well. So just timekeeping. That's a big thing at the spa, timekeeping. The next one is try to fill out the form as correctly and thoroughly as possible. If you're not sure if an allergy is relevant, still write it down, because your therapist will determine if it's relevant or not. If you have a food allergy, write it down, because the fact is a lot of oils are plant-based. You know, some of them have nut oils. There's a base oil at my spa which is apricot kernels, so if somebody's allergic to apricot, we can't use that. One of our base oils is coconut oil. If somebody's allergic to coconut oil, we can't use that. If you've got any type of food allergy or any allergy at all, just write it down. Even if it's not relevant, at least we know in case anything else does happen. If you fail to tell us about an allergy and you get an allergic reaction, you can't put that on us, especially when we've got a form that you've signed and said that you don't have any allergies. Because if then you have an allergic reaction to something and you come out and say, oh, but I'm allergic to coconut, why didn't they tell me? It's just like, it's not our job to tell you every single ingredient, so it's better for you and us if you tell us exactly what you're allergic to straight away, and then if anything is in any of our oils or any of our products, then we can not use it. But you have to tell us what you're allergic to or if you've got any issues. For example, I've had somebody who I once took into a room and they hadn't written it down, but when I took them to the room, it's like, oh, by the way, I had spinal surgery last year. That's something you need to write down. Sometimes people will say, oh, I thought it might stop me from getting a treatment. Then there's a good chance you shouldn't be having a massage if you think that it's something that bad that your therapist would say no. So just please tell us everything. If you're not sure, please just write it down. We will determine if it's relevant or not, and if it is, we will talk to you and find something like an alternative oil. We might even suggest another treatment if we feel that we can't do the treatment on you for fear it might affect you negatively. But yeah, so please just write down everything and we will determine if it's relevant or not, okay? The next one is when we take you into a room, we'll generally tell you everything you need to know in regards to what clothes you need to wear, how to lie on the bed and that kind of thing. If we happen to not mention something that you want to know, just ask us. Generally, we try to cover everything when you go into the room. What I say when I take somebody into the room is I introduce myself and say, hi, my name is Debbie, welcome to our spa. I find out if they've been with us before, and then I go into kind of what I expect from them in regards to the treatment I'm doing. In a facial, I say, okay, so I want you lying face up so that you're facing the ceiling, lying on the pillow, and you'll be underneath the top 2 blankets or the towel or whatever. If they're having a scalp massage, I ask them to take their hair tie out so I can really get into their scalp. It's things like that, so they'll cover everything that they feel like you need to know in regards to the treatment you are having. So that leads into the next one, which is actually about the pressure, which is no matter what you've written on your form, if you're not happy with the pressure during the massage, to please don't wait till the end to let your therapist know. If during the massage you realise, oh, I'm not sure if that's quite comfortable, either you want more pressure. The cat again. You won't leave me alone. Yeah, so in regards to that pressure, if you're not happy with what you're getting, maybe you want more pressure, maybe you want us to ease off, don't just lie there thinking about it. We're not psychic. If it is too hard for you, just go, oh, would you mind just like easing off a little bit there, and we'll do it. Don't be embarrassed to tell us about that kind of stuff. So do tell us, don't just wait till the end, because at the end there's nothing we can do. And to be honest, sometimes it feels like a bit of a cop-out if somebody waits till the end to say, oh, I wasn't happy with the pressure, because you're just like, well, why didn't you tell us during the massage? So just let us know if there's somewhere that hurts, just let us know if you want us to ease off, if you want more pressure, any of it. Just tell your therapist as soon as you start feeling those thoughts of, oh, I'm not quite comfortable. Because as I say when I take people into massages, don't just lie there thinking about it when you're on the table. Just let us know, because it means we can get it sorted for you straight away. As soon as you say something, we're just like, oh, and we can ease off, or oh, and we can just start, we can use a bit more pressure. Or if it's an area that you just don't want focusing on at all, I'm just like, oh, actually, would you mind just not working on that area? Then we can just stop in that area and just carry on to something else. We can amend our routines for you. A big thing of this is just communication, really. The next one is listen to us when we take you into the room. Basically, it's about using common sense sometimes, because like if you're having a back massage, don't leave your swimming costume on if it's like covering half your back, because we can't massage you through that when we're using oils. We don't want to get massage oil on your swimming costume. So if you're having a back massage, usually if I tell somebody you're having a back massage, so you can either remove your swimming costume, you can roll it down. If you're wearing a two-piece, you can either take it off or undo it, those kind of things. If your therapist happens to not mention something like that, or you've forgotten what they said, just use the common sense. Just like, oh, I'm having a back massage, so maybe I need to take off my swimming costume or roll it down. Oh, I'm having a facial, so maybe it's not a good idea to lie face forward through the hole. If I'm having a foot massage, maybe I need to take my shoes and socks off. That kind of thing. Okay? The next one, don't interrupt your therapist while they're trying to explain to you what they need from you, because you interrupting them when they're in their flow, it might make them forget something that's really important. So if they welcome you to the room and say, hi, my name is Debbie, welcome to our spa, and you go, so I want you to focus on this area, and you know, and I want this kind of pressure, just like, you've just interrupted them while they're trying to introduce you and kind of welcome you to the room, and they might leave out something significant that you might not even think to ask about. So let your therapist do their welcome spiel when they take you into the room, and if they haven't covered anything that you want to know about, then you can ask them. Okay, so the next one is, please do not start taking your clothes off in front of your therapist. We're not doctors. We don't need to see that. You trying to put things on the back of the door while the door is still open, while they're talking, is interrupting them. If they ask you to sit down, listen to what they have to say. If they want you to smell the oils, smell the oils, that kind of thing. And then once they've left the room, then you can start putting your things away. You can take your swimming costume off or down or whatever and start getting comfortable on the bed. Again, when it comes to common sense, if you're having a massage, anything if you've had to take your top off or anything, or you've had to roll down a swimming costume, there's a reason that towels and blankets are there for you. They're for modesty. It's about what's comfortable for you, but also remember that your therapist doesn't need to see you naked. The next one is, if you have any like ticklish spots, or if you've got any areas that you don't particularly want focusing on. So if I tell a therapist, oh, by the way, I have just a little ticklish spot over my ribs, would you mind just going a little bit firmer? That's all it takes. The next one is our final one, which is number 15, which is the fact that it makes our day completely when clients are fully relaxed and thank us after the treatment. I have had the question of just like, oh, what if I fall asleep? If you fall asleep, that means I've done my job right, because you're completely relaxed, you completely trust me. And that's an amazing feeling. That's why I do this job. It's to make people feel relaxed. So when somebody leaves the room and they're looking sleepy, and I'm just like, so how do you feel? And they're just like, oh, I feel so relaxed. I could have just lied there for like an extra half hour. And I'm just like, that's really good to hear, because it means that you're relaxed, you're ready to go into the relaxation lounge and just chill out for a little bit. Sometimes if you've had a firmer massage, your therapist might mention going into the sauna after your treatment. Oil and dry heat work really well together to just relax the muscles even further. It's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. Now, tipping, obviously in the UK, is not common practice, but if you are happy with something, we won't say no. At spas, therapists will either get commission or a set wage. It kind of depends on the spa and how active they are with selling products and things. So at my spa, we have a set wage. Tips are very welcome. especially if somebody feels like that we've done an exceptional job. So it doesn't have to be very much. Like sometimes I've gotten a £2.50 tip before. Sometimes if somebody's feeling a bit extra special or something, they might give us a tenner or something. Sometimes it can depend on the length of the massage. But yeah, so just sometimes it can be a bit thankless. A thank you goes such a long way. So I'm going to say goodbye now. I hope those tips are helpful if you ever do go to a spa. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Mwah! Bye! The cat. I might need to play with him in a bit.